if you want a rifle that can be 4 other rifles, or comes in a caliber that you can't find in any other bullpup, this might be the gun for you. I get to try out a gun that I've really wanted to shoot, handle, and all that fun stuff, and watch all the videos for, but just could not afford. And today I get to do a sort of a mini head-to-head comparison of 2 American bullpups, American-made bullpups. Now, some of the things that these guns do share, both of these guns come in 5.56. Both of them are ambidextrous. Both of them are, well, they're bullpups. One of them looks like a Space Force gun. One of them looks kind of like, especially mine, because it's mine that I'm doing the review on, sort of an industrial-ish rifle. One of the first things that jumps out at me is, well, in 5.56, this is heavy. When I say this is heavy, this is 8 pounds, 14 ounces. For those of you who have the question, why is the Desert Tech so heavy? And I have an answer. The main reason why this gun is nearly 9 pounds in 5.56 is because it actually is a 308 that is convertible to basically 4 or 5 different calibers. 5.56, 300 black, 308, 6.5, and I'm seeing some people are working on kits for 8.6 Creedmoor. So that's kind of neat. But at the weight this comes in at, this well, this would make this the heaviest 5.56 bullpup that's available on the American market. I've always wondered when it came to the Desert Tech and well, Desert Tech versus, you know, any other bullpup that's out there right now. It's always compared against the more expensive bullpups like the Tor 7 or the X95, but it's never really compared to Kel-Tecs, and I think that's kind of interesting, even that the Kel-Tecs do kind of bring a lot to the table for the price that they come in at. That said, let's see if the $2,000 plus price point for the Desert Tech MDR really sets it that far apart from the Kel-Tec products. All right, so the guns I'm going to bring out today are, they all have a lot of commonalities. They are all American-made bullpups. They are made from the factory as a bullpup. They cannot be anything else. They're all Gen 1 guns. They all have some form of unique ejection system. In the case of the MDR, forward eject, RFB is forward eject, and then the RDB is downward eject. And curious in terms of accuracy, you know, is there a huge difference when you buy a $2,400 bullpup or a $2,000 bullpup, $1,900 bullpup? Are they that much better than a $650 5.56 bullpup or roughly $1,000 for the 308 RFB? It's always been my question, and I've really wanted to see like the bigger gun channels kind of do a major you know, bullpup shootout, like so the Desert Tech, the K&M M17, either the 5.56 or the 308, the Tavors, now the Tor 7 and X95, and then the Kel-Tecs. Because I've always been curious to see, like, you know, at each price point, what advantages am I getting? Now, I would also like to point out regarding the triggers of the newer generation of bullpups, so the MDR, the K&M M17S, the Kel-Tecs, they all seem to have very, very good triggers. And I don't mean like good for a bullpup, because that's kind of bad. Because previous bullpups like the FS2000, for example, had really, really horrible spongy triggers. And these guns don't have those. In fact, they feel very much like the triggers you'd find on, say, a military or a mil-spec AR. Got a very good take-up, a crisp let-off, nice, loud reset. We're going to compare, we're going to compare the RDB in 5.56 to the Desertec MDR. So let's start with both guns have non-reciprocating charging handles. So meaning that the charging handle does not move when the gun fires. So on neither gun does that happen. Both guns have a magazine release that's just in front of the mag well. So that gun does. And guess what? So does this one. Let's go over some of the things I like about both and some things I'm not real fan of. Things I like about the RDB. One of the things I like about the RDB is before you put all this stuff on here, either with the polymer handguard as stock, there are it weighs, just like either right at 7 pounds or 7 pounds. It's really lightweight, and it's a 5.56 bullpup. That's really cool that you can that somebody has made a bullpup that weighs not 9 pounds, not 8 pounds, but 7 or less pounds in 5.56. That puts it really, if it's not at basic AR weights, it's really close, and that's awesome for a bullpup. The RDB has an excellent trigger, not just excellent for a bullpup. I mean, like, it has an excellent trigger. I mean, the only thing I did on mine, and that's just me being, 100% honest, is I put a stop. I glued a couple pieces of Kydex to the back of mine so that I have an over travel stop. Outside of that, there's no M Carbo Springer in here. There's no modifications at all. Just a minor stop. That's it. QD mounts all over this back of the gun. You've got one here, you've got one there, and you got one there. The weight balance on this is actually right around the the rear tower. Another thing I really like about the RDB is this safety is very positive. Some of the things that I don't like about the RDB. One of the things I don't like about the RDB, and it does appear on the Kel-Tec RFB, but the top rail on the RDB is 2.5 inches too short. On most modern bullpups today, that rail goes to this trigger, or right in front of the mag well. It makes it difficult for running a prism optic, or any optic that has a short eye relief. And if you wanted to do that, or an optic plus backup irons, it's really not easy to do on Kel-Tec products. The bolt release on this gun is very stiff, and I feel like it's not in a very ergonomic position. When I go to stick this magazine back in, my thumb is nowhere near where I need it to be for that magazine release. And on top of that, I have to push down, and I've pushed down really hard to get the bolt to go forward. So I feel like that's kind of a weird spot for him to put it, and then make you push down really, really hard. It's they probably should have reversed it and made it a push-up kind of style magazine release. If you're going to put it there, maybe make it a paddle. Of course, the final thing I kind of don't really like about the Kel-Tec, and it makes it look somewhat really cheap when you do this, is, well, this is a rubber butt pad, a thin rubber butt pad that just kind of goes over the back of the gun. The MDR in 5.56. What I like about this gun, comparing it to my RDB, is it's got a real butt pad, and it's a nice thick one. Top rail runs all the way to the front of the magazine well. Mag release, the fact that you got a mag release right here right by your trigger finger. That's cool. Plus you've got your backup magazine release right here. Even with its plastic handguard, you've got slots to put whatever it is that you want to mount on your gun. It can be other calibers. So some of the things I don't like about the MDR, very heavy, as the 5.56 gun. The thing I think is interesting is this rifle, fully set up like the way you see it here, weighs an ounce less, set up that way, than this gun is in 5.56. Another thing I'm not a fan of this on the MDR is, well, I mentioned I like the fact that it has, you know, these push button AR style mag releases. They are also one of the things I don't like about this gun, in that they are extremely stiff to actuate. I feel like I've got to grow muscles on my finger in order to make this drop magazines freely the way that I think they should be. So to give you an idea, you know, I'm holding this, and bam, 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 I pull the trigger. I'm not trying to exaggerate that. It does take a little bit to drop the magazine out of the gun. It's still rather stiff even back here. Got kind of a creepy trigger. It's definitely like a mil-spec trigger in terms of the way that it feels, but it is a little creepy. I would think that because of the cost of this gun, you would start off with a much better trigger than it comes with. Now I know you can buy a good drop-in trigger for this, but you know, when you've already spent $2,000, $2,400 on this gun, do you really want to be spending another $250 or more for a drop-in trigger? Let's move on to what I found when it came to accuracy. So I shot both guns as configured here. I shot the MDR with this Vortex Crossfire 2. It's a 3-9 by 40, but I only shot it at 3 power to keep it kind of sort of in line with the 3 power prism optic I run on the RDB. And when it came to accuracy, well, I was a little surprised. I just kind of used what I had in my range bag, and you know, going to the store to buy new ammunition that's just not going to happen. So what I did was I zeroed both guns, then shot 5-round groups at 100 yards. I shot 2 50-grain polymer tip bullets at 100 yards. Both of those out of the bullpups, chambered in 223 Wild, 1 and 8, and this is a pre-production gun in 5.56 NATO, but a 1 and 9 twist barrel. Well, as most of you already know, the Desert Tech is a free-floated barrel, and the RDB is not. The spine of the gun is the barrel, so these towers and this top rail attached to the barrel. 3 types of ammunition. One available a lot of places that I've been, or at least it was pre-COVID, and that was the PMC X-Tac. Well, kind of an overview of what happened at the range. The gun with the best and the worst group was actually this Kel-Tec RDB with a 3X prism. That said, group sizes with the MDR were, well, let's just say they were more consistent in terms of size. If that wasn't around that the gun didn't like, it didn't throw them very big, and that could be just because it's a free-floated barrel. Who knows? But that was my result. And then, of course, you know, when it came to which gun had the smaller groups, out of 5 groups, the Desert Tech MDR had slightly smaller groups than the Kel-Tec RDB. And that's the other 2 groups that I threw in there were Hornady Frontier ammunition. I love that stuff. I just didn't have a whole lot in my range box. I would have gone 55, 62, 68, 75 grain 5-shot groups with both of them just to see kind of where they shook out, but I only had the 60 8 and the 75 grain bullets, and well, I don't think either gun liked those, and the RDB threw, you know, much larger groups with those than the MDR did. Advantage. MDR. I want to say special thanks to Walt for letting me borrow his Desert Tech MDR and the 308 conversion for a couple weeks to do some videos with and shoot with and all the fun stuff. And hopefully one day somebody will do a video with all the current bullpups that are out there. So like the 5.56 guns, the K&M Precision, the Tavor S95 or SAR, I would take either one of those, the RDB and an MDR, maybe an AUG clone or whatever, and then like the 308 bullpups, which would be like the RFB, the K&M M17 308, the Tavor 7. Ooh. I think that's it. In the meantime, I'll just kind of watch videos on some of these comparisons for the and like some of the rest of us just drool over the guns that I can't have. Or I'll play with them on games like Escape and Tarkov. That's so far looking pretty fun. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe, or at least like, and you have a great day. Alright, hey, so got here a 60 round American Tactical magazine. Will it fit in the RDB? Let's try it. Yes. Will it fit in the MDR? I'm gonna take that as a no.